Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin. Today we're going to be speaking about Pakistan versus South Africa. It was day 4, and what a game of Test cricket do we have on our hands. It's going to be exciting ending. I hope that we can push South Africa, can push and go forward and go deep and maybe. I don't want to jinx anything and I don't want to do all of those type of stuff, but I need to talk about the cricket, and you can't talk about the cricket without talking about results. So, welcome to everybody to the show. I hope you guys are going to enjoy today's show. It's a jam-packed show today. Really excited about everybody that's going to be available. We have put on the super chat, so you can get involved in the super chat if you want your comments to be read out on the show. Before we get going, before I bring on the panel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. I'm seeing that a lot of you guys are watching the videos but not subscribed to the channel, so go ahead and do so, and tell all your South African mates to do so too, because we really want to grow this platform, particularly in South Africa. Let's become the #1 YouTube channel in South African cricket. Let's do that, guys. Let's do this as a community. Let's do this as a team. We all can do this together, and I think without you guys, we won't be able to do this. So we need you, of course. So I've got a full panel available, but before we get going, let me just introduce you to what has happened with the South African game at the moment. Obviously, we know that Pakistan setting a target of 370 for South Africa to chase. Now, quite a few records will be broken if this happens. First and foremost, we were waiting. We could have been the #1 team. If we do this and complete this, we could be #1 on the list as a non-Asian team to be able to chase down. But what happened earlier on was because of West Indies doing that amazing chase in Bangladesh. They've become now the first non-Asian team to do so. So we can only come second in that list if we manage to chase down this total. In Pakistan, non-Asian sides have only, the highest score that was chased was 220. So it's quite a difficult one. It's a difficult one for South Africa in Pakistan I'm talking about right now. So quite tough. Other than that, I think it was, let me just get to the figure quickly for you. Other than that, for the highest chase in in Pakistan was by Pakistan 315 for 9 against Australia in Karachi in 1994. So South Africa has a few records to break over here in this particular match. We're gonna need some proper playing, stroke play tomorrow, a proper attitude. Put the head down. I think it was a brilliant display of cricket today, batting wise. Apart from Dean Elgar, who again fished for fished for a delivery outside his body, pushing at a delivery that was going wide. So this is what happens, guys, if I cover full game of a test and then I have to come and talk to you guys. So mind you about the mistakes. Sorry about the mistakes. Actually, for the mistakes, give me a fat like and subscribe and all of those things. Comment in the comment section. Go crazy with me. So let's get the panel on. I'm talking too much and rambling too much, and then we can try and get to as many comments as possible. If you want your comment to be seen, if you want it to be seen, and you want us to definitely read it out, that's what the super chat is for, because you guys have been amazing in the comment section. You've given us so many live comments. So go to the bottom right, $sign on the bottom right of the live chat to make sure that we read out your comment. I have to stop the guys on the screen from talking, and I can interrupt them. So if Mpo is going on for too long, you can just send a super chat to make me stop him. I'm just joking. Let's bring on Mpo. First and foremost, let's bring on the cricket connoisseur, and let's bring on Aditya onto the show. Welcome to the show, guys. We're waiting on one of the fans to also join. He asked specifically to join. He's just complaining a little bit about his connection. So these things happen sometimes. We'll try to get him on a little later once he sorts that out. So let's go. Paul, how are you feeling?
In the morning, I was very dejected. By tea, I wasn't happy. I actually wanted the guys to climb on a plane and come back home because of the attitude they displayed in the field today. They looked like a deer in the headlights. They looked like they had no plans. They looked like they looked like they were a team that was defeated. But what Rassie and Aiden did in that last session was just amazing. They batted really well, maturely. You can see that the plans against spin were clear. They were precise. There were some moments, but on top of that, they played spin incredibly well. They were positive. and assured in their footwork. I felt Yasir Shah and Nauman Ali were too full for my liking. I wanted them to be slightly back if they were going to try and cause trouble for the South Africans. That's obviously being a neutral. But I was impressed. And as Enoch said in the press conference, they need to make sure that they're prepared tomorrow morning. They need to make sure they ride out that first hour, the first session, make sure that everyone else in the batting order is ready to come on and bat. He spoke about the work that they did throughout from the last test about how to rectify their innings, and he spoke about Timber's innings yesterday in terms of how he batted and the character that he's shown, and that that's what the team is expecting tomorrow in terms of being able to pull this out. Look, it's set up for a great day of Test cricket. I'm happy that there was an attitude change in the change of innings, and it can only bode well for the dressing room going forward.
Excellent analysis. Love it. I always love to hear you talk, Paul. Let's go to Mr. Cricket Connoisseur. Everybody's speaking about you as their favorite YouTube commentator. So let's go. Let's give that soothing Cricket Connoisseur voice. Let's go. Let's get into it, man.
I think there's plenty more better than me, Harlid. I'm going to be honest, but I am touched. But yes, Mpo, I think exactly the same. Brilliant analysis there, mate, to be honest. I was very, very impressed with Markram and van der Dusen. The footwork looks so positive. They look so assured in their defence. And something which Luba Barlow, who unfortunately isn't on the panel today, he can't make it. But on Twitter, he mentioned about them not just blocking the full tosses. And I thought that was a fantastic point. They actually look pretty assertive with their shot selection, excellent shot rotation, and that was a fantastic partnership. 94 runs, absolute gold dust heading into day 5. The only thing that I will say, touching on Mpo's point about in the field, and of course that bowling display, again, there's a bit of an issue clearing up the tail, because in the first test you had 70 runs coming from batsmen 9 to 11, today 73. So that is definitely an area which needs to be addressed heading into the future, definitely something which I think Boucher, Smith and the think tank need to have a look at. But I think overall, South Africa have actually done decent today. By no means is it a done job. You've still got 243 runs to chase down. It'd be an absolutely monumental victory for the Proteas. But I think you can head home today. Those guys head back to the hotel with their heads held high. You're in a position to go on and win this test match. If you play smart, dig in for the morning session, allow runs to flow as the day progresses. And if you do win, jobs are good and would be a fantastic way to end a brilliant series.
Aaron, there's a stat there about South Africa finishing off the tail. Since 2018, the start of 2018, South Africa averages from removing from the 7th wicket downwards. The rest of the world averages, I think, about 47. South Africa averages 58. We are the only 2 teams below us, I think, are Afghanistan and Zimbabwe. And that's something that needs to be and we're talking about this on commentary earlier on. Was that it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable that we really struggle to take out the tail.
Lutus Pamela only can take out the tail. Lutus Pamela can only take out the tail. Shut up, man. Trolls. Come on now, man. That's what we need. That Luto type of meetings. Let's go to Aditya. Aditya, you sat in the press conference from Mkwe. And I love that man. He knows that. He's has incredible insight. He's well spoken. He knows exactly. His understanding of the game is incredible. I did an Unlockdown episode with him. Go check that out in the Unlockdown series. It's on the channel. Unlocked. It was a journey for me just to interview him, just to listen to his thought processes about cricket, what he's learned overseas, everything that he's done so far. It's incredible, man. So I just want to know what he said, because generally speaking, he talks quite a bit. So I think his press conference is about 15 minutes. I'm going to upload it for you guys a little bit later. So Aditya, what is the mood in the camp according to Enoch?
It's optimistic. And to me, the standout statement was, tomorrow can be the day we go forward as a batting unit. That is remarkable.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the day where South Africa can sort of turn the page of the last couple of years, where there have been these constant questions about their batting, and the confidence that they can get from putting off a win tomorrow will be indescribable. and he was optimistic. He said that Pakistan is going to come out swinging tomorrow. They're going to look for wickets, and it's going to be important for South Africa to build partnerships, be cautious, but also score and transfer the pressure when appropriate. So it was balanced, and that was the approach that he indicated. And I'm sure that tonight and tomorrow, before the start of play, they're going to communicate the importance of wickets not falling in clusters. Throughout this Test series, they've talked about one wicket falling down and then three more falling down after that. And that's something the South Africans are going to have to avoid. And to me, personally, I think they should take a leaf out of India's chase of 300 odd in Brisbane last month, because there we had one guy, Cheteshwar Pujara, take 56 of 211 balls, where he made sure that India at least did not lose, where Rishabh Pant and, the other guys could bat around him. So I think someone needs to play that role tomorrow, and then have guys like Faf, Temba and Quinny just take them over the line.
The moment of the whole session or the whole day for me was, besides obviously George Linder's 5-4, which is very important for his confidence going forward, and obviously his first 5-4, unbelievable. I think that was great bowling from his side. I think though we were a bit loose again in the field. We were a little bit loose with some deliveries, not consistent enough sometimes with the ball. Yes, and Pakistan were obviously, their keeper was incredible with the bat, of course, and we need to take out that tail. I mean, we should never let a guy like that come to hit 45 against us. We do that the same thing with Pat Cummins. He comes down here and he starts scoring a 50 and crap like that. We should stop those things from happening. But the highlight for me was that double step drive from Markram, to take that type of mindset against the spin, to show your intent. I think that's South Africa's method of playing the spin. Maybe that's how they should approach it in certain cases.
But that's how everyone plays spin around the world. You use your feet. I think South Africans have a moment where we think that double stepping is uber aggressive. It's either you play at the point of bounce, where the ball bounces, and you try and smother it there, or you play as late as possible. If you watch how Joe Root batted yesterday, he was dancing up and down the pitch, trying to, and then use the sweep shot. That's something that we didn't use today. But I think they were trying to understand, and this is something different, and you can watch it from Karachi to here. The way in which they were picking up the length was very good. So you could see that they were picking up the flight, and based on that, they would act. It's either they came forward to shorter balls, or they played back to balls that were slightly fuller, and they tried to negate the two fielders who were in front of square for them. So I love the way they batted, and I think that's the positive nature that we want. We don't want you just dead batting the ball coming forward, because when you dead bat the ball, you can get away with it if it's full. You won't get away with it if it's slightly shorter and it brings in those edges and it hits you high up the bat. That's what got Quinn in trouble the last time. That's what got Rassie in trouble the previous time. And so you could see now that it's thinking cricket. That last session was thinking cricket. It was great. And then Enoch said something that got me. He said they spoke about the fact that obviously with the wickets, and then he mentioned that this session is showing that they are listening and they've improved. That in the last test, these two were also batting at the end of the day, and they lost their wickets, and that led to South Africa necessarily losing the game. Whereas this time, they made it through to the end of the day, and now tomorrow, South Africa are in a stronger position.
Let me see if I can get on Werner onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can hear you. Can you hear us, Werner? Can you try to maybe speak? I'm hoping that it's working.
Good name, that. Can Mark them just...
Great name, and it's worthwhile. Yeah, I can see that he's muted. Can you just unmute quickly? And okay, he's gone. Never mind. Okay. It was good enough to bring him on just for the name. Mm. So the approach, perfect approach. Obviously, they're gonna have to change it tomorrow morning, though. Mm-hmm. I think a little bit, just tweak it a little bit.
Are we worried about the run rate? Because I'm not. I'm
not the run rate. I'm more worried about
bowling some bad balls.
I'm more worried about what the ball's gonna do tomorrow. That's what I'm more worried in the morning. Now that the ball's a
Oh,
little bit
there are-
older, the reverse swing, I'm a little bit more worried about that. That they need to see off that session, that first morning session. I think they just need to see off that first 5 overs or so, I think, and then they'll start getting into a rhythm. I think the way they approached it today was brilliant. They put the pressure back on Pakistan because they needed to get more all the good balls that they were bowling. They were defending well. I think their defense, first and foremost, the way they put up their defense was very good. The leaves, the blocks, getting to the pitch of the ball. Rassi was playing the ball very late with Aiden was trying a more attacking mindset. So it mixes it up a little bit for the spinners. So the spinners don't know actually, well, should we go forward? Should we go back? Where should we bowl for this particular batsman? I think there was a conversation that was had over there. And I think the communication between Rassi and Aiden has been very, very good. Actually in the middle between overs, etc. I think they've been communicating very well. They've built a sort of partnership that we need now. I'm starting to see more and more the importance of having someone like Rassi bat at number 3, because I'm all about bringing in a new person in the key positions that we need, and then obviously letting them get the experience, fight through that, learn from the conditions, and grow with the team. But it's a nice how can I say, plug, basically putting Rassi over there for a couple of years to ready up someone younger. It opens up an opportunity maybe to play someone at 6 or play someone at 5 in the conditions where we can bat with 7 batsmen maybe and put Kwani down the order. Rassi's going to basically build a platform for us to find our next person to replace, because it's difficult to also just throw someone in the deep end and I'll hope that they swim. And I can see that Uppo is about to like.
The thing about it is that what many people forget is this is Rassi's 8th Test match.
Yeah.
It's his 8th. It's not like he's been playing 20. It's not like he's been playing 30. He's also a newbie in the side, and he's also playing with whatever conditions there are. And he came, and the thing I love about Rassi coming into the Test side is that he came in very late. He'd already played 10 years of first-class cricket before he got his opportunity. Rassi's had incredible seasons, and the calls of everyone wanting to drop him. I understand everybody loved to see KP in there, and yes, Rassi's had gotten some opportunities. Remember, he made his debut against England last year in the Test side, and then after that it was COVID. And so he also got his run. He's making the most of his opportunities. I think he's going to take that number 3 spot and he's going to run with it. And I think he's going to be in the side until probably 38 because of the fact that he got the late call-up. I don't think he's going to want to let go and stop playing for the Proteas anytime soon, up until 34 or 35, where everyone thinks people must stop playing cricket all of a sudden. So I want Rassi in that side. I think he's a perfect 4 for everyone else. And it was his birthday today. He scored 48 runs. So I wanted him to get the 50, but I'm a huge Rassi fan as a Lions supporter, and I think he's the guy. He's always been our guy. He, in the last 24 months, has been the guy to help Faf out. At the World Cup, he was great. He's been great in T20s. That's the maturity he showed today. Is the type of thinking man's cricket I want in the side. Someone who listens, and you can see how happy Enoch was in that press conference, because for once it felt like the shoe had dropped. That everything that they were saying, everything that they planned for, all of a sudden it's dropped. And the sad part about it is that we don't have a 3rd test, because in that 3rd test, regardless of what happens tomorrow, if South Africa get close or if somehow it ends up a T and we lose, it will build for a really great 3rd test. That's something that we needed, but obviously we didn't get. But I'm really happy that he's shown the application, and and I think this innings is about silencing the critics, and I want these two to actually finish out tomorrow. I don't want them to ever think that there'll be somebody behind them who's going to do the job for them. You need to believe that you can carry this team home.
And it takes a lot of pressure off us the way West Indies did in their match. It actually takes a lot of pressure off us because already it's been done. So it's not like you're going to be the first and we have all that pressure on us. Aditya, I want to ask you as well. Are you happy with the fact that South Africa will be able to build on this for the future? Like, if we can learn from Rassi and Aiden and then take it for the future, do you think that this is the solid top 3 or top 4 that we looking for with regards to Aiden, Dean, Rassi, and Faf? Do you think that's the best that South Africa can produce, and do you think we should continue with this in future tests?
100%. This is the ideal top 4 in my view. But with that said, I don't think South Africa should repeat the mistakes that were made during the Callis era, where when Callis retired, they didn't actually play Faf at 3. So they should give Keegan Peterson enough opportunities. And again, they should do what they did with Faf. Faf started as a number 6, number 7 batsman at their side. So I think whenever conditions permit, whenever the team combination permits, they should look to blood new youngsters all the time so that there is enough international exposure. Otherwise, that gulf that we always talk about between domestic and international cricket will never be bridged unless you don't give people opportunities. So that's something I hope they do. What I'm really happy about with this performance of Aiden and Rassi is that, I think it gets rid of that monkey of the back. It is that monkey of the back. With respect to spin. In the last game, they were perhaps a bit too defensive, even though both made runs. Today, they were more assertive. But then again, I'm going to come back to the argument that I made in one of our previous shows, where if someone gets out the spin, we said that South African player has a problem with spin. But Dean has gotten out fishing outside the off stump twice in a test match. But no one's really saying that Dean has a problem with pace. So I think somewhere, I guess the public and the media need to get that narrative straight. That Virat Kohli got out to a spinner today. That doesn't mean he has a problem with spin. It's just that he either played a bad shot or the spinner bowled well. So somewhere we need to get that straight as well.
You think that where I think the narrative really took off and really accelerated in South African cricket was when India came down here in the ODI team. The ODI team came down here, and Chahal and Kuldeep took 32 wickets against us. And they completely destroyed us. And then I asked the question in the press box, in the media conference, do we have a problem against spin? What is our problem against spin? Why do we struggle against spin? And the batting coach at the time told me, we don't have a problem against spin. It's just that we have never seen these bowlers before. Our batsmen have never seen these unorthodox bowlers before that bowl in certain ways. They have an unusual arm. They've tried to do it, get Anton to throw the ball in the net sideways in weird ways.
Is that what Dale Benkenstein said?
Yep. That's what I was told in the press conference. Yes, that's what I was told in the press conference. I will never forget, because I still wrote the piece. I was like, that was the headline. We don't have a problem. So that's my
other issue.
So
they had to Shamsi to bowl them at in the nets.
So that's my point. It's that the excuses started coming, and stupid excuses started coming to protect us from that narrative. Then we went to Sri Lanka, got completely destroyed by Herath, and then we went to flipping India, and we got destroyed by what's his name again? Ravindra. And
Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yeah, Ashwin and Jadeja. So what is his first name? Ashwin. Yeah, I was right. Ravindra, I said.
No, it's Ravichandran and Ravindra Jadeja. So one's Ravichandran, one's Ravindra.
Okay, cool. So watching that, guys. But anyway, so Ashwin and Jadeja, we got completely destroyed in India with against them, and that's when the narrative started. Now, that also had a lot to do with inexperience. A lot to do with the fact that a lot of those players didn't get the opportunity to play in there before. Aiden Markram, first time in the subcontinent, a lot of pressure on him. So a lot of that had to do with that situation. So we need to look at the way we've improved. And I think what's a massive, massive improvement is that the fact that someone like Rassi in his first subcontinent series is playing the way he is. That gives a lot of confidence to any youngster that's coming into the team, because he can say, look, this is my first time. This is what I learned from the conditions. Any youngster that's coming into the side can say, okay, cool. We can learn from the way Rassi approached this. Same with Aiden. Aiden can now say, look here, I've improved. Since the last time I played and I broke my hand knocking the door because I played crap in India, since then, I've improved and moved on, and I've learned how to play in these conditions. So I'm going to try one more time for Werner. Please work. How's it, brother?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Perfect.
All right, finally.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So the floor is yours. I want you to hear from your point of view. Or how do you feel after this particular day? I see there's a smile on your face compared to what we had yesterday, where it was more of a smirk.
Yeah, I felt the same as Zumpo in the middle of the day. I was looking at our bowling and thinking, what the heck are we still doing there? But it comes back to yesterday. Our problem is still our batsmen mainly. Our bowlers have gotten us out of trouble a lot of times, and I think the time to recuperate, because we bowl them out cheaply for 270. Then our batsmen come in, but they don't last long. So our bowlers don't get enough rest before they come back in. So I think there were some tired legs out there today. But yeah, I'm happy to see the big partnership between Markram and Rassi. That's the reason for my title down here. I'm thinking because they mentioned that the Cock is not going to continue as captain. Maybe this is Markram's time to step up, because if he can replicate the type of thing that Smith had done while being captain, maybe they will give him the captaincy. I don't know. I was thinking all the time, maybe we'll give it to Alga, and then he'll take it a couple of years before Markram takes over. But maybe he is ready to be thrown into the deep side.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of misinformed narratives being painted around Quinton de Kock and the captaincy and all of these things, that he didn't want it and all of this. From my experience of meeting Quinton and seeing him in training and watching him in action with the Blitz as well with the Proteas, Quinton never came across as a player to me that does things because he's told. He's always seemed like a person to me and a player to me that does what he wants. He doesn't necessarily get forced into things he doesn't want to do. That's just how Quinton de Kock is. This is what makes him. If he wants to bat in the nets and have a session, he'll have a bat in the net in the session. If he wants to not have a bat and go to the shop and go buy fishing equipment, he'll go buy fishing equipment. That's just who he is. He'll decide what he wants to do and when he wants to do it. If he wants to hit the gym instead of going to the nets, that's what he'll do. And I've seen every coach that has worked with him has allowed him to do that, because that's how you get the best of a happy Quinny. It's a good Quinny. Now, whether he bit of himself too much than he can chew is another story. But the fact is that he knew walking into this role that he was just going to be a temporary appointment. Everybody knew that from the first press conference that they announced it. It's not like they said, "Oh no, Quinton's a new Test captain," and yeah, that's it. He's temporary until we find a replacement, and he accepted that terms. Because at the beginning, when they were going to announce the Test captain initially, then he said, yes, he's not going to take a permanent role and be all three. He's only going to do white ball cricket. But because they asked him to stand in for a while, until we get a better appointment, they thought that Quinton can handle that pressure and still bat, because Quinton's the type of guy that's not really going to change the way he plays for anybody. You can see that he's still coming out with the same approach. I think he's just a little bit off form. I don't think it's too much of a burden like people are making it out to be from my perspective. I think he's gone out trying to play his natural game when his natural game might not necessarily suit this particular wicket all the time, only in certain patches. So his adaptation to the match situation and to the pitch and to the way the bowlers have bowled to him hasn't been as great as I think he could have been. That's something that if he wants to be a top order batsman someday, he needs to learn that and add it to his game. Anybody else want to mention anything on there before we say goodbye to everybody?
Let's talk England. Let's talk about what Don Best did. Like, I
tried to get through without hearing that guy's name. I'm sick of memes of this dude in the flippant group.
No, but guys, this is something else. Like, the wicket he took of Virat Kohli.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Brilliant.
That was
good planning as well. And Poe, did you see the build up to that as well with Rory Burns as they're coming off? He was talking to Rory Burns, brilliant little conversation, and he's just making a gesture. So they were going to make him play forward, going to catch the edge, and that is exactly what Don Best did. I've been saying it for a while. I have faith in my young spinner. I've watched his development from being a Somerset spinner. Went on loan to Yorkshire, was absolutely brilliant in the county championship. He has come into this England team right now, and he's been excellent. The guy is averaging 21 on away series. How incredible is that? He's 23 years of age. And people say, oh, he's a bits and pieces spinner, this, that, the other. And I'm the first to admit, there are bits of his game which show inconsistencies. There's a brilliant pitch map. You can find it on Google, comparing him and Nathan Lyon in the Pakistan series and Lyon in 2019 in the Ashes. Absolutely brilliant. For any budding analysts out there, go give it a look. It's absolutely brilliant. There's a 5% difference in terms of their consistency on hitting a good length on the pitch. But in my opinion, I think he has so much promise. I really do. He's worked with Rangana Herath, who is an absolute legend of Test cricket, let alone Sri Lankan cricket. There seems to be different approaches to his game. He seems to be changing up the angles, the flight, the trajectory, the pace as well, which was something so impressive from Dom Bess so far. So for me, I think he has promise. And to be honest, he has been brilliant. You think Jack Leach is almost the experienced candidate in this England team. He's 29 years of age, again, been absolutely phenomenal for Somerset in county cricket for a number of years now. And yet Dom Bess is actually showing him up. Look at the difference between those two today. Jack Leach getting absolutely pumped all over the place by Rishabh Pant. And then you just saw the almost opposite of that with Dom Bess. So much control. Yes, he does get lucky. Yes, there were a few full tosses in there. But again, he's a young spinner. For anyone watching this out there who is a young spinner, it takes years to hone your craft. You're not going to be perfect at the age of 23. Spinners on average usually get to around their best at around 27, 28. So looking at Dom Bess, the raw potential, the fact that he's taking wickets for fun, doesn't matter how they come, you're a bowler, you'll take them. I think that he's going to be a fantastic bowler to watch for English cricket for many, many years to come.
You see why I say England is the standard for us to follow, or the way they've approached things, the way they move their team on, the way they built the team. I really think that the way you guys have done it is a perfect example for the way people should do it, teams should do it in the future. Dicha, I want to know from you, what is your thought process of the game so far? Obviously, you will be sitting there a little bit disappointed about the way India have played in the match so far, but where do you think the improvements will be? Where do you think you can take advantage of this test match?
Yeah, well, we're in a sport of bother. That's stating the obvious, I suppose. At this point, it looks like the best outcome we can hope for is a draw, and we need to see how much Washington Sundar and Ashwin can pull on tomorrow. It was refreshing to see Pant play the way he did. He scored 91. Hammering sixes one after the other. Fantastic. With that said, a little bit of a concern for Rohit Sharma, because it's been a couple of games. I don't want to see Rohit Sharma get out to Archer in the fourth or fifth over of the game. I don't want to see that. Usually, of course, I don't want to see that, because I think it's not the sort of wicket where you want to do that. I think that there is an opportunity for him to sort of mend his game outside the off stump. He needs to do that, because he is capable of hitting the very quick double hundreds and 250s, and I'm sure that he can be the guy to hit 300 for this team as well. But yeah, that to me was a bit of a concern. Shubman Gill, fantastic catch by James Anderson again. Rahane was caught by Root as well. So I think there was some brilliance in the field from England, so credit to them. But with that said, I don't want to see the Indian bowlers concede 500 odd again. I also don't want to see Indian batters get out to the fast bowlers in the upcoming test matches. Sure.
Just on this. But you do know that this is going to end in a draw, though, Aaron. You do know that.
I will take it. Honestly, for me, as long as it's not a 4-0 whitewash, I am taking that. I said this on the other stream, boys. Little victories, okay? As long as we don't lose 4-0, I'll take it. I'll celebrate a draw as a victory. Honestly, would be a fantastic result. Chennai, it's a world-renowned pitch for being such a difficult place to bat on. We put up 578 runs. How extraordinary is that? Amazing. Everyone in the country has been up at like 3:45 a.m. to watch the likes of Root, Stokes, the Lord himself, Dom Sibley, bat absolutely perfectly on that pitch. It has been brilliant. It has been really, really good. And of course, guys, just before we do...
You could swear his name is Don Sibley.
It's going to be. It's going to be. Watch the average. But yeah, just something else I did want to touch upon, actually, aside from England, India, is about South Africa, Pakistan. Someone mentioned it in the comments, Ayaz. Mohammed Rizwan, how brilliant was he today alongside the tail? 115.
No.
First ever century. in Test match cricket. Extraordinary.
I have to give a shout out to one of my friends. He wrote an amazing article on him. Nasri Alexander. He wrote an amazing article on him before the Test series, saying that that's the guy we need to watch out. Forget Baba Azam, yes, of course, but he's the guy that we need to watch out for. And obviously, it's only happened now that he's actually taking his game to the whole next level and getting that century of his. But good analysis from him to pick that out before the series.
Yeah, Mohammad Rizwan was in the press conference as well, right after Enoch, and his confidence is unbelievable. When someone asked him, "Are you concerned about the partnership between Markram and Venkatesan?" and said, "Well, basically, this is Test cricket. Partnerships are bound to happen, but we break this one, we're going to get them. Simple as that." Simple as that. I mean, the confidence was unbelievable.
No, but he batted very well, and he gave everyone a template as to how to bat on the surface, how to make sure the bowlers bowl in your area. South Africa got really tired, and he got freebies. Or the moment he got over 50, it was just freebie central.
Yeah.
And he was moving with the tail. And it just so helped that Nauman Ali knows how to slog sweep and slog sweeps very well. And it helped. But the other thing as well, I think we should also just say is congratulations to the West Indies. That team under Craig Brathwaite, without you would say some of the bigger names who are playing Big Bash and that Abu Dhabi T10 managed something that I will never forget.
Test cricket is actually in an amazing era at the moment, I feel, because everybody's growing. We're seeing new players come onto the scene. West Indies is trying to find their feet. Okay, India is basically the only team that I can say is 100% like settled, man. Like, yes, they're bringing in Shabnam Gill and those type of guys into the thing, but generally speaking, they've got guys that can be there for another 5-6 years, generally speaking, in their team. I want to ask you though, I don't know, I didn't keep an eye out on all the news and stuff in India, but what's happened to Shaw?
Shaw is in the reckoning, definitely, but it's also pretty obvious that he has a bunch of technical flaws that he needs to correct. And I guess he was touted as this guy who will break all records except for Bradman's average. There's literally a piece on him highlighting that. And there's obviously there's a lot of potential. He made a century on debut, and the talent is beyond doubt. But the competition is also beyond doubt. And Shubman Gill is a more technically sound batsman. He has the temperament for the big stage, and he is considered to be a future India captain. Then there's also Mayank Agarwal, who is a senior statesman compared to Gill and Shaw, who is also in the reckoning. And he has done well. He's put double hundreds in India, and he's played well in Australia as well. It's the competition. It's simple as that. I think all of these cricketers have potential, but all of them are also vying for that opening spot. And Rohit Sharma isn't going anywhere. He's definitely going to be given one of those two opening spots. So it's up to Gill, Shaw, and Mayank Agarwal to decide how they want to manage that. And let's not forget we've also got guys like Devdutt Padikkal, for example, who opens the batting for the RCB now, who is also could be in the reckoning for that opening spot in the future in Test cricket. So
I love how when you have a great season in IPL, everyone's looking at you as a Test opener, which is awesome. That is very good.
Wrong. He's had a brilliant Ranji Trophy season, my friend. He's in the IPL because of his brilliance in the Ranji Trophy. He was considered a future India player before he made his debut for RCB. There's no question about it.
What about the SMA, though? He was brilliant for Karnataka in that. He scores, I think his average was over 70 in a T20 competition. Yeah. Mental.
Exactly. Brilliant.
Oh, he's got so much class. And obviously, as an RCB fan, hopefully many more years to come from DDP. Wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah. My thing as well is when I look at the India lineup, man, like I've always been like, okay, I'm not, I want to say a fan, but I mean, I think Shabnam Gill, for me, I see him more taking over that number 4 type of attacking type of role in the side than an opener for me. I think Shaw is more of an opener for me personally. I see him more as an opener. I don't know if that's a good analysis, because Agarwal's brilliant. The way he destroyed South Africa, gee whiz. Like, I thought he was phenomenal, the way he just kept his concentration and how tough he is. Like, I think it's a bit harsh on him to actually drop him. I mean, Rohit Sharma, would you say that it's maybe time to let Rohit Sharma maybe go in the longer format? I think I see him as a short format player. I really see him. In Test cricket, I just think that talent-wise, there's a lot of other players talent-wise, but I guess you guys need that experience at the top of the order, of course, especially when you have a guy like Shabnam Gill.
The thing with Rohit Sharma was that he was actually supposed to make his debut against South Africa in 2010 in Nagpur, where Dale Steyn took 5 wickets in one of his record-breaking spells. So he was actually supposed to make his debut there, but he got injured playing football in a warm-up 15 minutes before the toss, and his Test debut was then 3 years later. So he was a bit unlucky there. Secondly, I guess because of the nature of his predecessors in Sachin Tendulkar, VVS Lakshman, or Ganguly, then the spot for him was always going to be at number 6, because Virat Kohli had slotted in at number 4 and Ajinkya Rahane at number 5. And the openers at the time, Virendra Sehwag and Gautam Gambhir was still playing. So the only option for him was at 6. But Rohit Sharma is too talented to be a number 5 or a number 6 in a Test match. And then I think for a few years where they weren't able to get the best out of him, they decided to slot him in at the top of the order, which I think should have been done at least like 4 or 5 years ago to get the best out of his long form ability. So I'm all for Rohit Sharma, and I think he needs to be given an extended run at the top of the order for sure.
I'm a massive fan but I'm not saying he must play, but I'm a massive fan of KL Rahul as well. I'm a big fan of KL Rahul. I just think he's an extraordinary person, like a personality, an extraordinary cricketer as well. There's a comment over here that I just want to, because we have to call it now. It's going 45 minutes. I don't think I'll be able to be sane for tonight's podcast show if I'm going to take this on for another hour. So there's a comment over here from Prasad, and I want you to bring this to the podcast show. Because I want to talk about, maybe this is excellent from India to be able to see these type of things, the technical flaws in a player, and then go work on it so that you can help that player get to a better place. If someone could do that with Aiden Markram, I'd be very happy. If someone could do that with the young players in our squads, that would be awesome. That's what I'm hoping our batting consultants and our batting coaches can do. I think it's about time now that we find ourselves a nice overseas batting coach that was good overseas in the subcontinent I think me personally is one of those Sri Lankan legends, man. That's who I want as a batting coach. I want one of those Sri Lankan legends to come here and be one of our batting coaches. That would be excellent. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning into the show. Don't forget to come watch us on our podcast show tonight at 8. That's our show where we sit back, we relax, we laid back, we just have a chat about everything. But we got some interesting panelists, some guys that have been very loud on Twitter as well, to come on the show and talk to us about cricket, and to talk about where South African cricket is heading and what are the flaws, where we can improve. It's all about that in the show tonight. I'm hoping that some of the panelists on the show can also join for a little bit, even if you do join for us for 5 minutes, because I know it's late in India for Aditya. So dedicated, man. I love you, man. So thanks a lot for all you've done as well for Cricket Fanatics magazine and the effort that you put in, no matter what the time is in the night. So we're going to have an awesome conversation tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want you guys, it's an opportunity for you guys to also call into the show. I put the link in the description, so you can just click on that, and you can join in and call in the show like Werner did today. Basically, you just come have your say for 2 minutes. You can just say what you think about South African cricket, what you think should be improved, and then you can hop off the stream, and then we can go ahead with this discussion. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and please bring your money and your wallets with, because we want some super chats from you guys, because that shows are normally hectic with comments, so we want your super chats to help us obviously get your comments read and addressed on the show, and your concerns addressed on the show. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Don't forget to obviously like, comment, and share, subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the magazine. Link is on the screen and in the description. New edition coming very soon, all on women's cricket. I think it's something that you guys have to read, because it's really going to give you a proper insight into the women's game, some of the top women minds in the sport in South Africa that are trying to take the game to new heights. Please go ahead and check that edition out when it does come out. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates too. We have your reports, etc., and your reaction pieces. We're going to put up the reaction of Enoch very, very soon for you guys to check that out too. And also, don't forget, if you want to promote your brand with Cricket Fanatics Magazine, we can help you out. All the links are in the description. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks, Umpo. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Aditya, for coming on the show. We'll see you guys tonight with the podcast show. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks. Cheers.